October 16th, 2022. A world was created, satirically named Heaven. This world would simultaneously be the best and worst week I have ever played Minecraft. So, let me tell you about that story, and how one big mistake made an entire server go south. This is the story of Maigo. Let's go back a bit. In October, I had regained my motivation to start making videos again, but this time on my generally new YouTube channel, Shizue. I had new plans on what to do with the account, and one of them was a Minecraft world for me and my brother. I had tried one out on a previous channel, but I felt my focus on the story had led to its downfall. I wanted to start anew, and have a real world for my siblings to come back to every now and then to play on. But they had no interest whatsoever. That was until they wanted pizza. And then they were on board. My sister's boyfriend had also wanted to jump in and see what I was up to, so I let him in and told him the rules. I had one rule: do not destroy the capital. I gave them land to choose from on a map I'd recently drawn thanks to Chunkbase. This map had been given the name Land of the Lost, or Maigo. Each region had a name for their respective position, and I gave my brother the top of Shida, and divided Shizuka into 3 areas: North, Central, and South. My brother's friends ended up joining, and seeing that nobody had claimed the top of the map, they claimed Kataka, Jio, and Sui Islands, renaming them all to Tonka. This was the first major expansion of land, and so I claimed North Shizuka, later named Shizukita, and Minami and Higashi, which, despite being named wrong, I tried to ignore my stupidity. My brother moved his land more down south to claim all of the Badlands in an attempt to make a currency system. He had a hidden vault where he would store all the gold and put it in a bank for a currency called monies. And yes, that is how it's pronounced. Everyone seemed to be peaceful, but Tonka had the intent to be the biggest and strongest on Maigo. This is around the time I was proposed to make the world a realm, which it had been in the past, but now with people that genuinely wanted to play. So that's what I did, and in doing so, they began to ignore my authority over time. Don't get me wrong, I had no plans to be a dictator, and I thought it was fun for them to have their own communities. I asked them to make flags and put them in the capital, but at this point they had all considered themselves sovereign to my control. They took up the remaining land on Maigo and went as far as to even take over some of the main continent. With these expansions, I felt it wouldn't make much sense for the flag that I had made for Maigo be only made by me, so I decided to take it as my own, creating the United Saisei Empire. This empire would control all 3 of my lands, as well as a mushroom biome off the main island. With Danny expanding downwards, I'd found an island above Maigo, giving it the name Ohio for my friend Nick. I decided to find a continent for my own, in case something ever happened to Maigo. This was a smart decision on my part, but ultimately wouldn't matter that much. Ohio began expansion into a territory known as Wensen, and another country had been made in the southeast, known as PS5. Tonka, feeling left out, had suggested the country of Torakata. The USC felt much smaller than the other countries, so I had traveled even further, finding land that was 10 times larger than Maigo. But at this point, Ashton had asked everyone to stick near Maigo. Respecting his decision, a map block was enacted, making a smaller area for where we could go and preventing us from traveling to either USC islands. Torakata also made a noticeable downsize. Another act was proposed that would say, in war nothing would be destroyed, only claimed. This was to prevent hours of grinding from disappearing for nothing. We all respected each other. It was perfect. I had even signed a United Shizuka Act with Ashton, making our land one. There was no issues. until Nicholas stole from the capital. He had destroyed a few mangrove trees, but it was still destruction. He did replant more trees, but I had almost declared war on Wenson because of it. What I found funny was Ashton, who had said, despite our agreement to fight on behalf of the capital if someone attacked it, that he didn't care. I told Ashton that there was one rule, and that I would even consider using my mod abilities to prevent people from attacking the capital. This was the first spark that began the fire. Ashton didn't like that I'd even thought about abusing my powers as owner of the realm, but everybody calmed down and the situation vanished to the wind. I wanted to expand the USE, so I took some unclaimed land in the north, but tried not to get too close to Tonka as to prevent war. Ashton had asked me if one day we could take control over all of Maigo, and I told him that if we could convince Danny to join us, we could take down Tonka and control everything. But Ashton still didn't trust me with my mod powers, so he stayed weary. Building a pathway from my portal to the new USE, I'd fallen into lava, almost losing all of my progress. It was only Nick and Breon, and so I asked if they were busy. After they said they weren't, I made the next strike to the fire. I turned back time to just 20 minutes before, to return to a world with all of my items. Trying to be safe this time, I asked them not to tell anyone that I'd gone back in time. But if you know how people are, they didn't take the request seriously, telling the others. Ashton was once again pissed, saying that it was unfair to everyone else who lost their items ever. I proposed that a recovery be given to every player, but tensions had risen too high. Ashton no longer felt comfortable under my government, seceding to the way things were before. Given Ashton had previously wanted to claim all of Maigo, willing to give up his land meant one thing. He wanted war. Knowing that everyone on the server was petty to keep playing after war, I was willing to stop playing just so that I wouldn't have to deal with the problem. But Ethan and Nick both told me to keep going. It was me or them, and at the end of the day, it was my world. One of us would leave, given war was imminent. But I held my head high. Unfortunately, telling my sister of my suspicions, she had told Ashton I had full intention in going to war with him. Ashton rallied up Tonka, Hawaii, and the Republic of Sheeta, and they spent a day getting netherite and other materials. Now, I had no clue how it happened, but Sammy, the ruler of Tonka, had accidentally killed Ruijerd, a horse that was part of the capital. People had threatened them before, and I'd told them that they were a part of the capital. So as far as I saw it, Sammy was already in a position to be kicked. But instead of allowing me to punish Sammy alone, Ashton had already gathered all of Maigo, forming an organization called Oreo to fight against me. This was treason, harboring and assisting a fugitive. They wanted war, so I gave it to them. But in the end, Oreo won, and I was defeated. Or so it said.